There we go. Okay. Good morning and welcome to the Wallet to Wealth Female Entrepreneur Series in support of Halton Women's Place. Wallet to Wealth is a brand created to speak to women to help mentor, educate, and inspire ladies to living and leading empowered lives. Our speaker gala event is near November the 11th. Mark your calendar. So that's a Thursday night at 7 p.m. and it's a really, really fun event. So the first year we did it, of course, it was live. It was a gala and we had dinner. And the second year we had to go virtual, and it was a fabulous event. So we pipe in music, we've got spotlights. It's really, really fun. So come on out and help us raise $50,000 this year for Halton Women's Place. So it's November the 11th. We'll put the link in below. Starts at 7 p.m. And so join us for an awesome, fun event. And anybody who wants to showcase their business, we do grab bags, we have door prizes, we have a live auction. So reach out to me and we will we'll present your stuff. And the auction page is super, super busy. So you will get seen many, many times. So I love this. I love social media. It's how we meet today. And Sherri Barna has developed significant resilience from an adversity, naming it priceless. Her business, Purple Bean Media, was born, and here she is today to share with us her beginnings and her digital marketing agency. Welcome, Sherri.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm really excited about this.
So am I. I love your business. I love your message. So let's just jump into it and talk about sometimes there's intergenerational messages that we receive, or societal beliefs, or sometimes we just have an event, as you had, that really, really changes the way we see things in our life, and it almost makes us kind of like super women. So can you share with us your experiences?
Yeah, for sure. So I have 3 kids, and with the birth of my last baby was in December of 2012. And I just felt really tired after him for a couple months. So when I went to the doctor and, your follow up, like, hey, how are you feeling? I'm like, I'm exhausted. I'm so tired. They're like, yeah, you have 3 kids, it happens. You're a new mom. And I'm like, I don't know. It feels more than that. Like, cause I have energy. Like I'm a higher energy person. So I'm like, whatever. What do? You just kind of believe what the doctors tell you and kind of move on. And until one day I was like, I have to go to the hospital. Like I was throwing up. I just had this headache. I actually wondered if they thought I might have meningitis. They did like a spinal tap and everything. It's just, I was so exhausted. I was in this little hospital in this little country town, and they said, you know what, we don't have the resources here to help you. And I was like, okay, I'll just go home then, because I was so tired. I'm like, I can't even fight for myself. They said, no, we're going to send you to this hospital over here in the next city. I'm like, okay. So I went, and they kind of did some things. So like, you know what, you got to go home. You have this baby. He was breastfed at the time. So like I had him with me. They're like, this isn't working. Just go home, take some pills. You'll be fine. A few weeks later, I was actually, my husband called 911. He's like, this isn't right. Something's not right. We got to go to the hospital. Went back, kind of did the same thing. You're a new mom. You're exhausted because you have a newborn. You're not sleeping, like just the same old, same old. I'm like, it's not, I don't know. Gave me more pills, went home. And finally, I was at the point where I just wasn't even functioning. So my husband went to work and my mom had to come over and watch my kids for me. And I was in bed and I texted her, I said, I really need a glass of water. And she came in, she's like, this isn't right. We're going to the hospital now. And my aunt just happened to be walking up the driveway to check on me. So she said, you watch the kids, we're heading to the hospital. So I went there and I got in a wheelchair and my mom was pushing me. And she's like, something's not right with my daughter. And they looked at me, they're like, oh my gosh, they did like the blood pressure thing.
Yep.
And it was like 60 over like 18 or 20, like it was something really bad. They're like, we're not going to lose you, don't worry. And I was just all of a sudden on a gurney talking about like crazy words, like we're not going to lose you. And I was like, no, you can't lose me. I'm 28 and I'm healthy and I have a newborn. So they rolled me into like the ICU and they just went to work, and it was terrifying. It was like very Grey's Anatomy. I tell everyone, like, it was literally like a scene from Grey's Anatomy. I was like laying on the bed and all these doctors are coming in and rushing and using all these crazy words like, we're going to put a central line, we're going to do this. And I'm like, oh, I know what those mean because I watch those doctor shows. This is not good. So anyway, they got it. They figured it out. It took a few days. And I was just on like heavy medication in incredible pain, like I can't even describe. And finally they said, hey, we know what happened. You have strep A, and it's settled just in your organs. So my heart, my brain, my stomach, and whatever. And yeah, it was a close one. So I stayed in the hospital. I got better really quickly. Like the doctors were like, don't have high hopes, Sherri. Like you're going to crash again. People don't. I'm like, not me. I'm not. I'm getting out of here. I have a life. Like I've been here for 2 weeks. I came here with like a winter coat and now I see it's sunny outside. Like I want to get out of here. And I did. Within 2 weeks, they said, hey, you can stay for the weekend if you want. And I was like, I don't want to. I want to go home. So, and I got really better. It took a few months. Like I was napping, and obviously there's some after effects, but for the most part, I was just like, nah, I'm done with this, and moved on with my life. But it changed in a big way. So some in so for like a couple of years after, if I had a headache and I was heading to bed, me and my husband were like, I'm gonna wake up tomorrow, right? So like some like trauma, I guess. Yeah, in that sense, but it really changed my outlook of life, of like, hey, you know, especially women are like the worst for this. They're always waiting for the next season. So they're like single and they're like, I just can't wait till I get engaged. And then they're engaged. I can't wait till then I'm going to love life when I'm married. Then they're married. I just want to have babies and then I'll be happy. And then we have babies. Oh, and when they're independent in school, and they're always like putting everything off to the next season. And I'm just like, man, enjoy the season you're in, because we might not get the next season. We just might not. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So right. My message to everyone is like, what I realized, like when I was just laying there on my deathbed, essentially, I said, you know what? I don't say I love you enough. I don't ever say that to my sisters, and I love them. I don't say it to my parents, really. Like I say it to my kids, but I'm not like an expressive person that way. So I'm like, I'm going to change that. I'm going to tell people that I love them. And just other things, like I like dresses, but I never wanted to wear a dress because people always made a big deal about when I wear a dress. They'd be like, oh, you're wearing a dress. And I didn't like the attention. So I never wore the dress, which is like such a stupid example. And I remember the one day I'm like, I'm buying that dress and I'm going to wear it. And the people made, of course, like, oh, you're wearing a dress. This is so weird, because I'm just like a jeans and t-shirt girl. And then I was like, yeah, because I don't want to not wear the dress. And then now I wear dresses all the time and no one comments and it's fine. You know what I mean? So it's just very much like, hey, you embrace life. We are not promised tomorrow, and love the season you're in and make it the best season you could be in. Yes.
And that's one of the hardest things to do, is just to live in the moment. I liked what you said. I love what you said. Do something because we're going to die. So, and it's true. I mean, we just hold back so much in life. And the thing is, it's not a dress rehearsal. And it's kind of funny because I did an interview in the summertime at an airplane show in a park. And it was a live interview. It was pretty good. And I guess it was so good that somehow it went to print. And so I was just away again, and this magazine flies by and it's like, holy cow, like they've done this whole story. And at the end of my interview, I said, of course, I completely forgot that I said this, but this is not a dress rehearsal, folks. Like you've got one life, get out and do it. And my message was about aviation. So I love what you say, is that do something, because we're going to die. Yeah. We're all going to die. So just do it.
Yeah, the thing is, and now I'm kind of like, I don't want to say obsessed with the idea of the deathbed, but just like if there's an article or a YouTube video that's like 5 things people wish they knew, or what they said on their deathbed, I'm watching it and reading it. And a lot of it is like, hey, invest in your family, follow your dreams, say no to things you don't want to do. Like, don't waste your time getting sucked into something that's not in your gifting. That's, so I read those articles and I'm like, man, I'm so fortunate. I learned that at 28 instead of 70, 75 or 95, whatever, just being like, I wish. So I think that has been really good for me and my family. And so then I just push this on people around me. I'm like, hey, you don't have to be on your death. Take it from me. I know I know what I was thinking when I was alone, you know?
That's a major thing. I mean, you were separated from a brand new baby for 2 weeks. I mean, that must have been murder on top of your other two children and your spouse. I mean, that's hard to fathom, being lying in a hospital bed and not even being able to take care of your children. I mean, for women, like, this kind of stuff doesn't happen. Like, it's,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a huge thing. So I love how the adversity has aligned your life. So you were just talking about that. And so I'm just going back to some of the thoughts that you were saying earlier about do it now. So did you just want to share how this has really aligned your life?
Yeah, you know what? So that happened, and I was working at an organization. So when I don't know how old I was engaged. I must have been like 21. So I think it was about 2007. I got this job at an organization as data entry. So I kind of worked my way through the company. And then with my last baby, they said, hey, you know, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, it's becoming a thing. We need to hire for this position. And I was like, ooh, now that would be something I would thrive in. Let me do this. But I was like out to here pregnant and just about to leave for a year for mat leave. So I said, listen, I will work through my mat leave. Let's work something out because this is a position I know I want and I know it could be good. So they interviewed some people. They were like, you know what, we're going to go with you. I'm like, sweet, let's do this. So I kind of just learned, like, to their, you know, credit, they were like, hey, go to the conferences, we'll buy you the books, do what you have to do to be the best at your job. So I did that for 5 years. And then I started just like getting no to a lot of my ideas and getting a little bit tired of the role. Like, I loved the people I worked with, but I was just like getting out of bed in the morning wasn't as like, hey, I get to go to work today. It was like, oh, tomorrow's Monday. And I never wanted to live like that. So I said to my husband, and meanwhile, on the side, friends who had businesses were like, hey, what should I do about this? What should I do about that? And I was like, oh man, that's easy. Just do this. All you have to do is, and then I would do it, give them my advice for free. So I said to my husband one night, I bet I could do this for like a job. Do you think I could? I don't know. He's like, yeah, you totally could. Of course you could. So then I'm like, So he mentioned it the next time we played soccer to some people that were playing soccer with us. And the goalie on my team said, you know what, you got to come with me on a Wednesday morning. We have this breakfast meeting. People need what you're offering, like social media, digital media help. So I was like, oh, okay, which was a big step for me because I'm naturally an introvert, very shy. I'm not a huge like, hey, I love parties and big groups of people. Like, I like 3 people and have a coffee with me. So anyway, I walked in, sat beside him, like terrified, scared. And all these people were like, I need your card, I need your website. Like, let's talk because this is exactly what I need. And I was like, oh my gosh, I don't have a website. I don't have a card. I don't have a business. I have an idea at this point. But I am very much a yes person. So I'm like, oh yeah, I'll take your card and I'll call you. So that day I just went home from that meeting, opened up my computer. I'm like, I need a cool name that no one has because I don't have a website yet. I don't have like energy and funds to put into SEO, which is search engine optimization. So when you Google me, I wanted to come up. So I just thought, hey, the name Purple Bean Media works, perfect. Move on, made that decision, built my website and started getting out there. And it's taken off like crazy. I can't believe it. So, and then within 6 months of that, I had a choice to make. I was so busy at Purple Bean. I was like, man, I have to give up my job, I think. Like, what do I do here? So I gave them my 2 weeks and I have not looked back. It's been amazing.
Good for you. Good
Yeah.
for you. There's the part of us that want to be safe and secure, and then the you know, the part of us that want to be like adventurous. And I love what you did. Like, you just went off the ledge and said, because that is a really big thing. I did it too decades ago. I only ever had one job in my life, and I was young, and I gave up that job after 1 year to become self-employed. Never looked back. Oh my gosh! So if I had stayed with security to going out and doing the adventurous, risky roller coaster, you know, of you don't know where your next sale's from. So this is fabulous. And so you're super creative. And I love the idea, like Purple Bean is like, it's catchy. It reminds me of Purple Cow. I remember reading this years ago, is that when you stand out in business, you want to be the purple cow. And
Yeah.
and that's how I relate with you is Purple Bean. So yeah, so this is awesome. So just tell us a little bit about your business so people watching, because I'm sure there's a couple things about digital marketing. So for one, the biggest thing is trust, right? How do I know? How do I trust? How do I know that this person is going to be able to do this? So right away, I just want to let you know that I have been able to find instant trust with you. Like I just find, I mean, you're just honest. You have like it's so I know that you're not a fly by night person, because some people I think are not jumping in and buying from social, across social channels, because they think, oh my God, I don't know this person. But the thing is that we can get to know you, and whether somebody has, you don't live very far from me, but you can be doing work for somebody in the United States or somebody in BC. So this is what's so cool. So tell us a little bit about your business and how people can connect with you and what type of service you can provide. Because just lastly, I wanted to say is that we have moved to this digital platform, and COVID has pushed us here. And now that we're here, a lot of us are saying, holy cow, like this is just not a bad place to be. I don't have to, drive all over the place all the time. I can connect, get the work done, and off I go.
Yeah, exactly. So my business is all about digital marketing. So it boils down to this type of thing. Get in front of people. You want people to trust you. You want people to know you. You have to be in front of them. So I try and say yes to every opportunity that comes my way. Now it's getting a little busy where I'm getting a little more picky. But for the most part, it's the same thing for any business. Listen, if you want people to know you, you have to get out there. Whether it's you're doing videos, whether you're posting on digital platforms such as Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, or whatever. And honestly, it's where people are at. So people are scrolling through their phones for about 3 hours a day. The younger generations are sometimes upwards of 7 or 8 hours a day. So it's crazy to me that people discount social media, because I'm like, that's where people are literally spending hours and hours and hours. So I always say this, like in the, whatever, like 100 years ago, we had town squares, and that's where you would go to like have your social interactions, to buy your bread or your vegetables. It was the place to be. I'm like, we don't have that anymore. We are very insular as a culture. And so everything is just simply on our phones. This is the new town squares. So I say to everyone, get on it, because it's where people are spending time. You'd be crazy to not take it seriously.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not against traditional marketing. Hey, I love the billboards. I'm creating a billboard for one of my clients right now, because it's like, hey, anytime you can get eyes on you, that's where you want to be. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And sometimes the most, so whatever the person's product or services are, sometimes it's not that part that's getting marketed, but it may be something else that is being talked about that leads customers to that person. So right from a really good marketing name to a really super neat event that you happen to do, and it's true, things are just being picked up and forwarded on social media, and you never know who's following you. So I love that you have this service to offer, and I just think it's so important that people reach out and check, because if you want to build a business, you really need to get out there, enjoy it, and build it. Like you say, you don't want to wear a dress because you don't want the attention. But the thing is that sometimes we're doing that about our business. We're afraid to come out and say what our business is. And the thing is that if you're passionate about your creativity, whatever your offering is, get out there and talk about it, because there's people that will resonate. And the only way to get that message out today is it's got to come across the social stations, and they're not overrun. So somebody might say, oh, well, that's too much, it's not. And I just want to jump in on TikTok. Somebody might say, oh, TikTok is, for the younger generation. So I just want to let you know what happened with me. My granddaughter, who's 7, she's off of TikTok now, but a few months ago, she was on this thing like it was crazy. It seemed like hours, but she learned everything on TikTok. Like she was teaching me stuff. So a 7-year-old taught me how to use TikTok. And while I was on TikTok, I had the opportunity to see the NDP leader, Jagmeet Singh,
Mhm.
who I never would have been up close and personal with this man. And what it
Yeah,
was he, on his TikTok, he decided he was going to take his turban off and show his hair and explain
okay.
about how all of that worked. Well, I saw that and I was blown away. I couldn't believe it. I had to
Yeah,
tell so many people, I show them on my phone, you gotta see this TikTok. It's unbelievable. Check out
yeah,
this guy. So here's the thing. Here's a man running to be the Prime Minister of Canada. He's
Mhm.
not talking about being the Prime Minister of Canada. He's talking about what he learned with his turban and his hair and all of this stuff. And so all of a sudden, what does he do? He gets a whole pile of followers.
Yeah,
This is the thing about people reaching out to you, because that you can come up with all sorts of cool ideas, and for people not to pass judgment on, well, TikTok isn't for me or Instagram isn't for me. It may not be for you, but I'm telling you, people are watching it,
yeah,
and they're watching whatever it is that they like. But it's how we get our information, it's how we get our news, it's how we get what's the latest.
yeah, exactly. And what you said is just exactly what social media is for. It's for that authentic self. So like I do go on videos a lot, and I'll just be sometimes just teaching like, oh, okay, you need to increase your SEO. Here's how you do it. Here's 3 things you can do. Da, da, da. And that is fine. But what I want to do is show my personality behind it, because it does 2 things. One, it attracts certain people to me. So a lot of people have been like, I like your style. I like that you'll meet at like a pub and have a beer and go over the marketing strategy. Like it doesn't always have to be really serious. And then for the serious, like A-type people who would not want to work with me, they're like, no, not for me. So it kind of like takes away, it really puts me in front of my target audience. And then something earlier you said, you don't know who is watching. So I remember I started doing these videos. I was like, I'm going to commit to doing a video a week, just a quick teaching, like 3-minute, 4-minute quick video on whatever, anything digital. Hey, here's this, here's that. And so I was doing that, uploading them to LinkedIn. And all of a sudden I got a call one day, and I thought it was a spam. I was like, I don't know, am I walking into a trap here? He's like, hey, I have a television show. My name's Rav. I saw your video and I know you know what you're talking about. And I was like, oh yeah. He's like, do you want to meet in Burlington? I was like, so I said, I have a guy I work with pretty closely. I said, can you come with me? Because I don't know. It just seems too good to be true.
Yeah.
And I don't want to walk into anything. Like you do have to be, I always say it's like blind, it's like dating nowadays, like on the apps, like you got to tell people where you're at. So anyway, I go, and he was like, true. It was the real deal. So he's like, I want you to work with me. And I've worked with him for probably almost 3 years now. And it's been an amazing relationship, all because he just saw this video and made a call. So, and I've had many stories like that. So I'm doing these videos, they're only getting a few likes. It's not like everyone's like, this girl, she's like knows everything, she's a guru. No, they're just watching and they're not commenting, they're not liking. And then all of a sudden I get a call, hey, I've been watching you for the last 6 months, we need to talk. And that's what I tell everyone. I'm like, don't get discouraged with the numbers. Don't get discouraged that there's a billion videos on the same topic, because you just don't know who's going to connect with you and when that call is going to come in. And I have tons of stories like that, where it's like for myself and my clients. And I'm like, you know what, if 30 people were in this room right now listening to what I had to say, I'd be all like, sweet, this is amazing. So why am I not when people watch a video? Why? Because I want 1 million views. Like, so it's really interesting.
Yeah.
You just don't know who's watching. And that's why you have to keep just sowing the seed. You put it out there, and then the phone will ring. It just, sometimes it's a matter of time. So.
Absolutely. And people love stories. They love individual stories, and everybody will resonate to a certain energy. So you do have a certain energy. So it's enticing. So this is good. And I like what you said too about the likes, because we don't always have to have a ton of likes. And because I think that they say that some people are having kind of like mood swings because they're following those likes, but it's not all about that. And I can just say from experience, I mean, I do get a lot of likes on my stuff, but I can tell you the biggest likes that come out is again, putting something up like, I mean, I did a, a bikini thing running down my new beach that I built. And the
Yeah.
amount of viewers that I had on the stories, I put it on story so it didn't stay up. It was unbelievable how
Yeah.
many people looked at that video. So it was so I do have a lot of people watch my stories, but it was literally 5 times. So people saw, oh, it's a girl in a bikini, bang, they jump on. But what's really cool is, and it was tastefully done. It was just come on with
Yeah.
me, and it was a good 30-second video. But the thing is that from that, the people that outreach to me and travels. When I just came back from West Virginia, and I was with people who were like, "Oh my God, you built that beach! That's so cool!" And it's like, I didn't even know you're following. Plus, I can't
Yeah.
go through all the people on the stories because
Yeah.
there were so many of them. It would have taken me a long time to pick them all out. But yeah, so what you're doing is just fabulous. So just tell us, how can people reach out to you? What's the best way for them to come in, and what's the best way for them to reach you?
Yeah, they can check out my website, which has a lot of information on it, which is purplebeanmedia.com,
Okay.
or on any of the social platforms. TikTok, I'm always like, oh, I need to invest more time on TikTok. I am on there, but so any of my platforms are Purple Bean Media or Sherri Barna at like Purple Bean Media. So yeah, check me out on there. And yeah, I give lots of tips. I like the insight because even you with your flying and stuff, it's a touch point of something that I'm interested in, that it kind of makes me more prone to remember you rather than other financial people who only post about finances. So,
Yeah.
so that when people said, oh, Whitney Hammond, I'm like, oh, I know, she's that girl with the airplane, right?
Yeah.
Like, so, and it's just a really good touch point. So I'm always, so I post frequently on all social platforms. So Instagram probably would be the best one, I would think. But whatever people are comfortable with. So
Yeah,
purple
and
bean.
they can just inbox you, and I do find that sometimes we're like, oh my God, there's messages coming from all areas, but for people not to be afraid of that, because those messages will sit in the inbox until you're ready to get to them. And
Yeah.
exactly, exactly what you say is that, so this is how we resonate with other people, is something different. Like I rarely ever come on and talk about money and financial planning. I mean, I probably should, but I'm extremely busy in my career, my practice, and I am willing to help people, but I haven't been willing to push it out.
Yeah.
But I love sharing the inspirational stories of how people like you can have this death defying thing happen in your life, and then be catapulted to saying like, hey, you know what, I'm going to go out and do what I do best. And you're young and you've got decades to do this, right? So you'll just keep building your clients, and building your client base, and helping people. So you're helping people to take their business to the next level, and that's what it's about, because we want to serve more customers, we want to help more people, and
Yeah.
you're the avenue to do that. So
Yeah, and I love it. And you know what? The message I do try and like talk to people when I talk to them in real life is just like, you can do it. Like, you know what? I tell people, hey, I started my business. Now our life was in order, like we weren't crazy in debt, so I could leave and my job and figure it out type of thing. So sometimes I talk to people and say, listen, there might be steps you need to take before you just say yes, whereas mine was really more of a whim. Um, but I'm like, you know what? My parents had always said, you literally can do anything you want. And the more I look around, I'm like, man, why don't people believe they can do it? But as you kind of mentioned at the beginning of the interview, it's just like these belief systems that are so ingrained in us. And the more I talk to people, the more I'm like, what do you mean you can't reach 1 million? I'm like, I have big goals. Yeah, I'm from, Brantford. I have big financial goals for my organization, and you can too. I don't know about me. I'm like, yes, you can. So that's like my main message when I meet with people in person. It's just like, you can do it. You might have to break some cycles. You're going to have to dig deep. You're going to have to work real hard, but I know you can do it. So it's just like really encouraging people to do it. So take the step. It worked for me, and I'm no genius. I'm not like the smartest person on the block. I'm not the most creative person on the block, and it's working. So that's why I know it can work for anybody.
yeah, and you've built a team around you so that you have the best of the best.
Yes.
What came to mind when you were just mentioning that was analysis paralysis. So sometimes
Mm-hmm.
don't jump out and do something because we analyze it to death. And what I loved about you was with you was that you just spontaneously do things. I've always done that. So yes, you can do something and it backfires. Okay, yes, that can happen.
Yeah.
But I've spontaneously, I mean, I bought a commercial building on Guelph Line, like bang, just like that. Sorry, it wasn't commercial at the time. I bought it and made it commercial. And that was
Yeah.
crazy up against all odds. But it's the second time I did it and I didn't think about it. So, just there's a lot of things that I've done. So I love like, that's the one thing that I caught when you said to me, you're like, I'm just going to do this. And that's the thing that makes, great business owners, great business leaders, is that we don't get stuck in that paralysis. We just go with our passion, we go with our belief, and we just invite the world, to come. This is what I'm doing, and I'm going to invite people to come into what it is that I'm doing. So, and you're in the right place at the right time. You really
Yes.
are. Yeah. So, yeah. So we'll just close up. Is there anything that you just wanted to close off with today?
Yeah, I would just encourage people, hey, we all have this very expensive camera in our pocket. Sometimes we answer calls, but it's mainly a camera. So use it, get on, build your brand that way. You don't have to start with a lot of money. I didn't start with any money. I didn't run a lot of ads at the beginning. It was just me popping on saying, hey, I want to talk to you about this today. Hey, I'm walking down the street and I had a thought. And it's really easy. It's in your back pocket. So just try and challenge yourself to post. If you're not posting at all, maybe 3 times a week. If you're doing 3 times a week, do every day. Because if you do that for a few months, you will, and I pretty much guarantee it, you will see your brand grow and you will start getting those phone calls.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love it. Well, thank you, Sherri, so much for connecting with me, and I was just loving to showcase you today. I just love what you're doing. So,
Thank you.
yeah, maybe we'll do a workshop with you in the new year for Wallet to Wealth. So we'll keep in touch and we'll talk later.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. And I love what you do too, even helping at the women's centers.
Yeah.
It's such a needed thing. And on their behalf, thank you for that. You're
Oh,
doing
you're
great.
welcome. I so encourage women to get out of their comfort zone,
Yeah.
hang around with the winners, hang around with the women who are doing it, because we all women need a mentor to follow, and we need a pal to take along with us. And women are very tribal, and we do help and encourage each other. So yeah, so that's how you and I have connected, and it's I hope we just stay in touch. I love what you do. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Okay, we'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye bye.